Hi, I'm Blair Gilbert, here for MrHardware.com and Gilbert's Pro Hardware in St. Clair Shores. We talked on a prior episode about this back patio, how it was pitched towards the house and water came off of it, was causing the basement to have a wet spot. This, if you look down, you can see these holes have been patched. This is where the mud jacker, or concrete raising guy, has come through, drilled holes, pumped a slurry of mud and such underneath this, floated these slabs up, and got them pitched away. So now when it rains, the water runs away from this building. Thank goodness. So, he's gone. It has left some huge cracks. All to be expected. When you have concrete moving, it's going to move away from itself because it never has a chance to come back together because dirt gets in the cracks. So here we are with the old foam trick. Remember, friends and neighbors, whenever you're foaming, always have a box at the end of the run because a little foam is going to drizzle out of the straw. This is the minimal expanding touch and foam. It's about $6. Minimal expanding. So when we squirt this in, you're going to see as this dries, it's not going to triple in size, make a chocolate mess everywhere. The mud jackers tell us that after they pick up the cement, if we want a guarantee on this slab, we have to seal it. So we need a good watertight seal. The foam is going to give us a watertight seal. Then we're going to come back, we're going to put some self-leveling caulk over the top of this, and it's going to be a beautiful job. It's going to last a long time. And this foam is going to shrink and expand as this concrete moves winter and summer. This foam will make this job last up to 5 years or more. We come back, we touch it up, life is good. Meantime, the rainwater didn't wash out the sand underneath and cause this to resettle. This particular foam is not UV safe. This foam will rot in the sunlight. So our goal here is to put it in, keep it a little bit below grade, because we can always add more. So now when this concrete, we could have filled this crack with dirt if we had. When this concrete moved this winter, the dirt would settle underneath and we'd have a hollow spot again. If you ever seen this foam stick to anything, it's not going anywhere. Now this is a pretty good sized crack, so let's give those of you trying to do an estimate on how far they're going. I'd say this is an 8 or a 10-foot deck. This is a pretty giant crack. Could have just made the foam stick to the walls of the crack and floated it even more, but we're going for a full fill here. This is working pretty easy. Okay, here's what the box is for. I go from location to location. It's going to drip on the ground. One can of foam did a large crack, went only about 16 feet. And I got a few holes here we're going to have to go back and touch back up. But I'm going to show you how we can even do small cracks with this. So you need a gentle touch and go very slow and keep your patience hat on, and you can do a small crack with this stuff. We don't have to fill all the way down. I like my depth to be equal to the width of the crack. So even if we did nothing more other than paint this foam, we just stopped water penetration from going down underneath and rinsing the soil out from underneath this foundation, causing it to settle again. The foam we're using is a minimal expanding. In a prior video, I used a landscape foam, which expands and is UV safe and doesn't have to be covered. This foam is a little cheaper. It's not UV safe. The foam will rot in the sunlight about 1/8 of an inch a month. So I can foam it, I can come back anytime within 30 days, and then we're going to use a self-leveling sealant to go over the top of this. This will make the job look good and kind of polish it all off. So we're going to use, today instead of using the black landscape foam, which expands more and is more expensive, we're using regular foam because we know we're going to cover it up. We don't need landscape foam. Anything we put on top of this foam, whether it's gray, self-leveling caulk, black roof tar, or liquid roof tar, is going to prevent the sunlight from hitting it. So we don't have to worry about this breaking down in UV. We're just choosing the gray today for the color. So here I'm filling some of the low spots to save our expensive self-leveling caulk. Then we're going to take a sharp knife, we're going to trim it all down, and we'll have a nice flat surface. Now whatever you do, never touch the foam. You get it on your fingers, you need acetone or nail polish remover to get rid of it. This foam is a little damp yet. We should leave it a little longer to cure, but I would like to finish this so that you can see what my plans are. So what we do, we take a razor knife at a slight angle. We cut it at a slight downward angle. Now whatever we don't cover with the gray caulk, we'll take and get dissolved by the sunlight and won't be a big factor at a later date. We may even come back and touch up this foam. To cut this caulk a little on the small side, there's a foil seal down deep in the bottom of this tube. Okay. In order to smooth this down, I've used a acid brush that plumbers use, put acid flux on. I'm using scraps of foam to smooth out the caulk and as a throwaway paintbrush to make sure I cover the foam. This caulk will lay down on its own, do a pretty good job of sealing any voids I may have left behind. I'm using foam as a tool so I can throw it away. So I can smooth the caulk out and get the edges. Can't wait too long because this will start to get a skin on it. So the goal here is to get the self-leveling caulk to hide our project as much as we can, protect the foam, and finish the waterproofing process. And if I get too much caulk on, because I only want a thin layer, but I've got the foam base underneath, which is the real secret of this whole job. If we used a black UV resistant, we'd have black line instead of a gray line. When you don't use foam to fill these cracks, what will happen is this caulk will find a void and it will just disappear. And you can put a whole tube of caulk in just a couple inches. By using this foam, we made it waterproof, we filled the void so we won't waste any of this expensive self-leveling caulk. And this will breathe back and forth, so as this concrete moves every winter, there's a little frost, we're in Michigan, this is going to move up and down. This is going to take and give us as good of a flexible, waterproof seal that I believe that we can ever make.